YouTube. Good morning. What's happening with you? What's happening with you? It's Sunday morning. This is actually my last day in Albuquerque. I finished finished my marathon yesterday. Done got Albuquerque, got New Mexico out the way. Done put that under my belt. And if I'm counting right, I think this is state number 23. I done took care of. And I just wanted to talk to you today. Something happened yesterday that I realized. I said, you know what? Let me talk to my family about this, just in case you happen to care. Just something I thought of. And anybody interested in wanting to get into running marathons, this is for you. Um, you have all kind of different races. You have big races, and then you have, well, not all kind of. You have two different actually. You have big races and you have small races. Small races is a population of maybe I'm gonna say 1,000 or less, 1,000 people or less that's actually running the race. Then you have big races that have well over thousands of people. 20 to 30,000 people. And so I done been in races that have more than 20,000 people actually running the race itself. So there are pros and cons to anything in life actually, but I'm gonna tell you the pros and cons of running a big race as opposed to running a small race. And the reason why I'm telling you these guys is, some people prefer small races, and some people prefer big races. Me personally, I like big races, and I'm gonna explain to you why I like big races as opposed to small races. Me personally, but I mean, the small races has they pros too. And what I did with this, I sat down and thought about it, and I got some notes. So I'm gonna be reading back and forth on some notes, and so I could give you a full explanation as to, you know, of the give you a full explanation as to why I think this is good and this is bad, and one or the other, and then you could judge for yourself. Somebody on here may want to run a marathon for the first time, and depending on the type of person you are, you might not want to run a big race, and depending on the type of person, you might not want to run a small race. Now, the question is, and I don't know the answer to the question of how do you know when you have a small race or a big race. Maybe when you register and you look at reviews, that's probably how you could tell. But I don't look at, now that I'm trying to just complete states. I really don't look at, let's say here Albuquerque. I needed to get this state out the way. So I'm not looking, is this gonna be a big race? Is this gonna be a small race? I need to get the state out the way. You get what I'm saying? Like, that is my reason for, not I'm not if it was a small, I don't like too much care for small races. And that's not a deal breaker. Like, okay, well, this is a small race. I'm not gonna run this one. Um, at this particular moment, I need to complete races. Now, if I decide after, I complete all 50 states, and I'll be like, I want to go visit somewhere and run, and if it's gonna be a small race, I might decline, because that's how much I don't too much care for small races. But I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of both of them. I'm gonna start with the small races, and I'm gonna be reading back and forth on this paper that I wrote down. I'm gonna give you the pros of a small race. These are the pros. You don't have a lot of people to run with, to deal with. You don't have a lot of people. When you on these courses, if you on a big race and you got thousands of people, you don't have to worry about a whole bunch of people crammed up, and you don't have to worry about that. It's a small group of people, and you don't have to worry about dealing with a whole bunch of people. Some people are not really like dealing with a bunch of people. Another pro is it's easier to park. It's easier to park in different areas. Like yesterday, they had if you want to drive, you could park in they had this church parking lot you could park in, and it was easier to find parking. and you don't have any problems, as far as getting your vehicle there. You can almost leave. Let's say the race started at 8:30. I'm 15 minutes away from the place. I was able to leave my place. I mean, leave my hotel at 7:45. I got there by 8 o'clock, and I was able to find parking with no problem. The courses, the courses to run are usually um, easier courses. What I mean by easier courses, you don't have to deal with people, but they have some places, some races when you're in bigger with a lot of people be bunched up, and you trying to gain momentum, and here is somebody that's in front of you, a few people in front of you, they congesting you, and you have to kind of like maneuver around them. And the restrooms. They have like porta johns. They have a lot of porta johns, and sometimes, man, like that's why it's very important for me to try to. It's important that you hydrate, but you don't want to do too much the day before, so you won't be have to use the bathroom. That's why I try to I cut out eating and all this stuff before 9 o'clock. I mean before 6 o'clock the day before. Before 6 o'clock the day before, I cut out all my eating and all my drinking. I try to. I mean, sometimes I get thirsty and might sip on some water before during the night, but I don't want to have to use the bathroom because on these big races, the porta johns be full, and on these smaller races, it don't be as bad. Um, oh, and another pro is on these short races, and I'm talking to people who really want to. Let's say you want to qualify for a Boston Marathon. You have to make sure that this race has Boston qualifier. I mean Boston Marathon qualifier on it. Because in the order to run a Boston Marathon, you have to meet a certain time, and they go by your age group. I don't even know what my time is, or what my age and my time has to be to qualify for the Boston Marathon. Now when it comes for me to run the Boston Marathon, I may not even do the Boston Marathon. I may pick another race as opposed to, I don't know, because the Boston Marathon, you have to run a full marathon. And all my races at this moment, I don't plan on running the full marathon again at this moment. Who knows? My mind might change later. But I don't plan on running no full no more. I done did two of them, and I don't. I'm done with running full marathons at this moment. So when I get to have to do Boston, I may I'm gonna find another race in Boston somewhere. It's somewhere in Massachusetts. It might not even be Boston. So, but it's easier to qualify when you in a short when you doing a small race. It's easier to qualify because you don't have all these people. You could really move at your pace, and you could get it pushing. So what I mean by that, let's say you're 40 years old, you have to complete a Boston. I'm just throwing some numbers because I really don't know. But let's say you're 40 years old and you have to complete the race. You have to complete a marathon in 4.5 hours. It's easier if you don't have that many people on the course to qualify, as opposed when it's not that many people on the course, as opposed to thousands and thousands of people on the course. That's the good thing about the small races. Here's the cons. Most of those small races are not as organized. That race that I ran yesterday was the most disorganized race that I have ever been. Um, we got there. We parked where the people told us when we pick up the package. They told us to park at this church. We parked at the church. Um, nobody, no signs, or nobody told us where to go. We all trying to figure out, well, what we supposed to be doing now. The church was a good little block away from where the start line at. Somebody figured it out, and they finally told us there was nobody out there to say, look, this is the way. No signs or nothing telling you, okay, you need to go this way. None of that. And at the beginning of the race, there's no kind of banner saying, okay, Albuquerque half marathon, no kind of signs or nothing. And then they didn't even sing the national anthem, which that's no big deal to me. But they didn't even sing the national anthem. And at the end of the race, they have like all races actually have snacks, water, fruits, bagels, and stuff like that. They had like some cheese crackers. Then they tried to give us some. They offered some popsicles and ice cream, and I'm like, it's 37 degrees. Y'all ain't got no hot chocolate, so I mean, but what they did tell me, they was not prepared for it to be this cold. They did say that. So, and they was thinking that it should have, in their mind, they was thinking it would be warmed up. You done ran and you sweated. You supposed to get. I mean, you should want a popsicle or something. That was a good thinking, but the weather wasn't good for that. And after the race, during these small races, it's not as fun. When you have big races, you might have a live band playing afterwards. They serve. It's almost like a party. They serve beer. It's real fun on these big races as opposed to the small races. The medals don't look as good. Um, this medal was okay, but big races have better medals. The medals look a hell of a lot better. The supporters are not as big on these small races. Like you go to a big race, man, the whole race you have all major supporters. You might have a live band on the side of the road. You have it's just a lot of motivation, and I'm gonna tell you, supporters make a lot. I don't really need it, but supporters does make a lot of difference. When you have people root you on and people on the sides of the streets, a lot of people on the sides of the streets, rooting you on, and you have live bands and you have people playing music and just you have that makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. It really does. You'd be surprised at the difference. Um, and the expos suck. The expo that they have, all they do is give you a package, tell you to park at the church, and they'll see you tomorrow. That's pretty much, now these big races, the expos, you get discounts on shoes. You may find different, like some people run and want to use I guess you call it sugar rushes, like ghouls and gels and gummy bears and stuff like that. Those are good for somebody who wants to do it. I don't really use them too much, but I don't really use them. But gummy bears and some kind of sugar substance that you carry with you. They had these little, they call them waffles. I eat those sometimes, but I buy them. I have bought them, and I'm supposed to take them on the race with me, and they wind up not even making it to the race. I wind up eating them before the race even starts. So, but that, and they have all kind of little gadgets that you could buy, like massagers and all kind of stuff at Expo. This Expo, they give you a T-shirt. Like I said, they give you a T-shirt, and they tell you to park, tell you where to park at, what time to be there, and y'all have a nice day. That's pretty much how the expo went. The expo sucked, and after the race, on small races, it's not much care. What I mean by not much care, big races you have nurses that will scratch you out. Let's say you get something hurting on your body, they'll put ice on you. Um, Certain place they massages you. It's just a lot more support as far as you have nurses and people just so that's the pros and the cons of running in a small race. Now I'm gonna give you the pros and cons of the big races. You meet more people that are professional runners. You meet more people, and you meet more people. Period. I did a race in Las Vegas. That's a big race. And before the race, they had Bruno Mars perform right before the race. Bruno Mars performed. right before you got started. And then I met this guy. Some of you may know him. His name is David Goggins. I didn't know who the guy was. I seen people running up to him, sign this, and sign my shirt, and just telling them they appreciate his story. And if you don't know who David Goggins is, David Goggins, he's on YouTube. He was a ex Navy SEAL, and he just has an amazing story. I don't want to get into it, but he wrote books. He has an amazing story about his life. And yeah, if you just Google David Goggins, and you'll understand his journey about, he's a runner and stuff like that. I seen him. I didn't actually meet him. Everybody else running up to him, and then I eventually asked him, "Who the hell is that?" And then they explained to me who he was, and then I googled him myself, and I was like, it's very interesting. That particular race, I didn't see him, but somebody said Kevin Hart ran the race. It was Kevin Hart ran that particular race, but I didn't see him. I didn't see him personally. It was so many people out there, and the supporting system is dope, man. Like, Vegas is a big race, and if you into big races and stuff like that, Vegas is the best, in my opinion. I'm on state number 23, if I can remember correctly, 22 or 23, if I can remember correctly, and that so far that's been the best race that I've done is Vegas. It's a night run. If you ever been to Vegas, it's on the strip. You run in the strip at night. It's real nice. But yeah, you meet more and then more professional runners. I can't at this moment I can't think of a name of any professional runners that I've actually met, but you could look at people and tell, look, I do this for a living. This ain't no game. You could look at people and say, look, yeah, he really does this. So and another pro is it's more organized. It's more organized. People telling you, okay, this is where you go at, this is what you do, this is where, it's just, more people guiding you and stuff like that. It's real well organized. Most big races are well organized. After the race is more fun. All the races all the big races I've been to, you might have a live band, performing. The the fruits and the snacks are much better. Um, some places actually serve you real food. When I was at Houston, yeah, it was Houston. They serving pancakes and salt. Just like it's better. The food is better. Um, yeah, and it's just like I said, well more organized, and the treats are better, and your expo is nice. What I mean, your expo, like I explained to you about the short races, they have different vendors selling all kind of stuff. You get, like I said, sales on shoes, clothes, like running clothes and stuff like that. The cons is you can't find no park. I highly recommend, if you're gonna run in a big race, you come out better catching your Uber, your Uber, get there at least an hour early. So because they block the streets off, and sometimes Uber is not. Sometimes even if you go an hour early, the Uber will not be able to take you close to the race. You have to walk a mile or two before you even start the race. That's not real good. I mean, but and you it's just a lot of people. It's hard to get a PR in marathons. They do section it off. Let's say, because they ask you when you about to run. They ask you what's your goal as far as how fast you want to run, and I usually pick between 2 hours and 2:15. So they'll put you in a section where your goal is to run between 2 hours and 2 hours and 15 minutes. They usually put you in sections when it's that big, but and they try to put everybody in the same category. As a matter of fact, you have certain like security people looking to make sure you in the corral that you're supposed to be in. You run 2 hours a race, and you don't want to go in the section that's they run an hour. I mean, they're gonna run it in an hour and a half. You don't want to do that because you slowing them down. But they're pretty, but it's not. They're not perfect at it. They're not perfect at it because let's say you run 2 hours and 15 minutes, 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes, and you got a partner. They run 3 hours to 3 hours and 15 minutes, and y'all want to start out together. Um, and you in the 2 hour you in corral B, which is 2 hours to 2 hours and 15 minutes, and then corral D, which is 3 hours. You know what I mean? Now you want to run with that person, you go in the 3 hour section. Now you a couple of corrals ahead of you, and you running with these slow people, and you run real fast. But you want to be in a section with your partner, and but a lot of times those security guards will look at your bib and be like, "No, you supposed to be over here," and that pretty sucks sometimes because you want to be, you want to run with somebody that So the best thing for that is to make sure y'all put the same time on the race. Put the same time when you registering. You put the same time of what you put the same time that they put, so y'all could run together and they won't say nothing. Um, like I said, it's more organized, and the race after the race is more fun. I think I talked about it. They have the bands, they have live bands and stuff like that. And the treats are better. The treats are a hell of a lot better. And the expos are much nicer. Like I told you, you have different vendors. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. The no the I was telling you it was a lot when a lot of people running the marathon, it's hard to get get a PR or stuff like that. And I was just explaining to you about how they put you into different sections. I'm all over the place. They put you into different sections or whatever. But um, let's say you wanna get a PR or whatever, and you want to qualify for the Boston Marathon or whatever. You make sure you go. The best thing to do is make sure you go into the section that you're supposed to run in, and then you take off. You know, but it's still always hard because, like, let's say you want to pick some people off, and it's a group of people to corral. I mean, the street is narrow, and you trying to gain momentum, but you want to pass some people, and they just in a. It's almost like you ride in the car, and you trying to let's say you trying to get somewhere, and you got two cars in front of you that's driving slow, and you trying to, and then you can't go around them because they got the streets pretty much tied up. It's almost the same situation. And the big races cost more. But I mean, it costs more, but look at what you get. I just explained to you what you get for being in big races, and it cost the cost of it. You have to pay all these people. I mean, you got security. You have the treats are, like I said, the treats are a hell of a lot better. And I think, and then now that I go back to how you find out about, is it going to be a short race or long? Look at the cost. They're going to look at the reviews and look at the cost, because sometimes you look at a review and they'll tell you it's a short race, it's a long race, or whatever. But look at the cost. I'm trying to think. This race cost me like 120. I think it costs about 120 to enter, and like a big race might cost you 150 or 160 or something like that. That's just to enter it. But like I said, the bigger the race is, I noticed that it costs more, and the medals are a hell of a lot better. In most cases, so there go your pros and cons to a short race as opposed to a big race. Hope this benefits someone, and like I said, and I said this earlier in this video. This is basically for somebody who's interested in running a marathon, and like I said, some people like to be around a large mass of people. Some people don't. It just depends on you as an individual. And that's it. So today I'm just gonna relax, and this is what I usually do the day before a race. I go find me a laundromat, and wash all them dirty clothes. I do not take no dirty clothes back home with me when I after I run a race. That's nasty. I don't. I make sure that I find a laundromat. It might have one here at the hotel. A lot of times they have laundromats at this hotel. I'm gonna go ask. If not, I'm gonna go find a laundromat, wash my clothes, and see what the city got going on. It's still a little windy here. I wanted to ride that tram. That's pretty much what I really wanted to do. I looked up some ATV riding, but they didn't have none of that. When I googled it, they didn't show where they rent ATVs here. They where they rent T I would my goal was to my thoughts was to ride ATVs through the mountains, but they don't have nothing like that here. I know they do in Las Vegas, but they don't have nothing like that here in Albuquerque. That I saw, I googled it and I couldn't find anything, but that tram would have been pretty dope. Now it's still a little windy. I'm gonna call them once I finish washing my clothes or whatever, and see and see how that goes. If not, I'm just gonna relax. Usually on Sundays, usually on Sundays when I'm home, I would run a 4 mile run, a little short 4 mile run, or I would just this is pretty much my rest day as far as working out, lifting, and any of that. So I'm gonna just do the same thing here. I'm gonna just relax. I'm not even gonna run them 4 miles. I'm not gonna do none of that. I'm just gonna get myself prepared to get back home, and that's all I'm doing for the day. But I hope, and then if not, if I don't get to run the tram, I'm gonna ride the tram. I'm gonna find something else to get into. And if it's worth recording, I'll do that. But other than that, I'm gonna just end the video here. I just gave you the purpose of this video to show you to tell you the pros and the cons of running a short race as opposed to running a big race. I mean a small race as opposed to running a big race. I felt that I needed to share that with you guys because that race was real short and it was very unorganized. It was a very unorganized race. But the best thing about it is I got Albuquerque out the way. I'm in New Mexico. I'm saying Albuquerque because this is the city I'm in. I got the state of New Mexico out of the way. So if I don't want to, I don't even have to come back here. So that was the goal. I achieved that. So with that being said, thank y'all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share the video. I'm a.k.a. Scooby, and I'm out. Y'all be easy.